Smile on your face as we talk about all the different ways that you can just make those spaces you call home, whether it's inside or outside, a little more better, or maybe a lot better, because I think that we can do it, whether you like to do it yourself, whether you like to hire it done. And we were just talking about ways to go green, and that certainly is a way to have a better life and feel that you're saving money, not only feel it, but to do it. And so we're going to talk in the next hour about ways to feel better in terms of just enjoying nature and also saving on your food bills. Have you heard what's going on with the price of food? Just saw an article today. They're saying that that food prices, because of energy and oil prices, it's going to go up at least between 3 and 5% this year. And so all the more reason, if you haven't already been thinking about it, why not grow your own veggies and fruits and cover as much as you can, but beyond even the saving money part, there's a real joy and a real fun part that comes with it. So in the next hour, we're going to talk about how to create your own victory garden, how to learn from these different classes that are going on throughout the community, tied to the whole cooperative extension community gardens that are all throughout Southern California. And these master gardeners that are there just eager and waiting to teach you and to help you. And whether or not you have space, you don't even have a plot of land for a garden, here you have a chance to get your hands dirty and to learn and just to really relax and enjoy. So we're going to talk about that. And then a little bit later, we're going to learn how, maybe if you've been thinking of it, how to get rid of the lawn. It's another way of bringing edibles perhaps to your front yard, your backyard. We have this big love affair with the grass and the lawn and all, but sometimes it may not be the best choice for everybody. And so we're going to learn about some options because, we are worried about saving water too. And we spend a lot of money on those mower blowers and all that stuff. So we'll get you covered on that. And then a little bit later on, I'm going to introduce you to this woman who is so fun. She has this website that I discovered that's all about offbeat everything. And if you consider yourself a little eclectic or you're kind of outside the lines. You throw outside the lines. You're going to love this lady because her thing is to not worry about the perfect images that you see in all those home magazines, the things that we talk about here, but, to kind of chart your own destiny and make it maybe less than perfect and just be offbeat and make your own home what makes you feel like you're your creative you. And so we're going to talk about some of the ideas and the website and the different people that contribute and some more inspiration for you. Remember, as you're listening to this and you're thinking, boy, I wish I didn't get to hear the whole thing, like you didn't get to hear all of Jonathan Fong talking about these great little handy project ideas, not to sweat. We put all up on the website at cindydole.com. It's right there in the on-air section, and you can also listen to the podcast at cbsla.com. I'm right there now on the home improvement page, so check it out. And by the way, hope you follow me on Facebook and our forum. We've been having a lot of fun throughout the week, because, the fun doesn't stop on the weekend. During the week, we talk and exchange photos and ideas and come up with solutions for different problems, whether it's inside or outside. So just check us out there as well. The number to keep handy is 888-KFWB-980, 888-539-2980. And so let's get to our next guest, because they're all about feeling good, getting your hands and your nails a little dirty, and enjoying the outdoors.
And holding $60,000, I watch his dumper trucks tip New York's cornflakes in the sea. Now I'm a farmer, and I'm digging.
I know. What is it about these farmers, huh? It's a fun song, isn't it? Farming divas. Well, all right. So have you created your victory garden yet, or your edible veggie garden yet? It's a chance to really, the White House is doing it, everyone. I want to say there's just, 40 million of us who are growing vegetable gardens around the country. And the reasons vary from wanting to save money to just kind of relax and share nature with your family. And so let's talk about how to do it. And with us are a couple of gals who do it, and they do it with joy. Jeri Huston and Sandy Gillis, who are both part of the Altadena Community Garden. So thanks for joining us. Jeri, say hi.
Thank you.
Scooch in a little closer there. Sandy's us there. Yeah, hi.
Hi, Cindy.
You guys are feeling like you're on PBS, you were saying.
That's right. Sweaty balls.
This is a little bit different radio show, but we like to have fun regardless. And so, first of all, are you seeing, you were nodding your head as I was talking about the excitement of victory gardens. Are you hearing that from people who are maybe new gardeners saying, I want to do it? Like
Yes.
there's a passion, a newfound passion.
Yes,
yeah?
absolutely.
What do they say?
They're excited because they feel like they're getting empowered. When we did our first round of classes last spring, there was a lot of fear. The first class they attend, they're scared. They don't think that they can grow a plant. They don't think they can grow food. And once they start getting their hands dirty and they get a little bit of information and they're able to ask questions and talk about other people in the class's failures and successes, you see a sense of empowerment in them.
I think we were just talking with Jonathan Fong about that. It kind of crosses over every aspect of the home. We all feel like failures that we can't do it. What's the problem? Come on.
Yeah, it's a big confidence issue.
I know. And I think that in terms of gardening, we all kind of associate, well, not all of us, but a lot of us associate that gardener who's this perfect, almost like a Santa-like creature and or Santa-like figure.
That's
a papa who, right?
Sure, yeah. But that's also the beauty of community gardens, because there are older veteran gardeners who've been there we have gardeners at Altadena who are in their 70s and 80s.
Right.
And they bring along the young people, the 30-year-olds.
Right.
Who are, and also to add to the point of all the people lining up to build victory gardens, the waiting list at a lot of community gardens in Los Angeles is about 3 years. We have 54 people on our waiting list at the Altadena Community Garden. It's 2.5 years of a wait. People want to get in there and get their hands dirty. A lot of people don't realize that there are those resources available, that you can go to a place and share, get fertilizer and soil amendments and water.
Lose your fear, right?
Yeah, exactly. Someone's there to help you, especially the UC Extension Gardeners. It's a fabulous program.
And so, Jeri, talk about how you got into gardening, because you're also a botanist, right?
No, I'm not a botanist.
No. You play one on TV, though. I've seen you.
Well, I think I developed my love of gardening from my grandmother. She was an avid gardener, but she really didn't grow edibles. She was more an ornamental gardener, and I got very interested in edibles about 3 or 4 years ago. And I went through the UC Master Gardener program a few years ago, and last spring, this time last year, is when we first launched the Victory Garden Initiative, and it was sort of a departure from what we normally do and focus on in LA County. And it started out with 10 sites all over LA County, and it was wildly successful. The day the Times printed the ad about the article about the initiative and the classes, we were all sold out, most of us, by the end of the weekend. And I myself am at the Altadena Community Garden.
Permanently, yes.
Yes, now it's official. I'm permanently at Altadena.
Yeah, we're thrilled to be part of your outreach program.
I've made a commitment to them. We do them in the spring and in the fall. And this year, it's grown to almost 20 sites all over LA County. And the site for Altadena Community Garden is at 3330 Lincoln Avenue in Altadena. And we'll be doing 2 classes. We're starting on April 9th. And we'll go for 4 consecutive Saturdays, and we'll have beginning classes in the morning and intermediate classes in the afternoon.
And we'll talk about that and give people reminders on how they can sign up. But in terms of just the passion and the excitement and the enthusiasm, I mean, what do you think is charging everybody to do this? Is it the
economy?
Well,
don't you think?
I think it's the economy, but I don't think it's necessarily about money. I think part of it is definitely a monetary thing, but I think a lot of people feel very displaced by what's happened to them in the last couple of years.
So psychologically wanting to feel empowered.
I believe that, and I believe this is something that I can go out and do.
And control.
And there's so many things that I think are out of people's control lately.
Yeah, and you can be a locavore in your own yard. You don't have to go to, the fancy farmer's market to have carrots every day. You can go carrots 365 days a year in Los Angeles. It's really easy to do. And yeah, that's nice to be able to walk out in the front yard and get something for dinner. Or put it in a power shake, the tops of carrots.
What percentage of Southern Californians do you think grow their own veggies?
I don't know what that...
I mean, is there a chunk of us? Or
well, I heard a statistic recently from our program manager, Yvonne Savio, who said that home gardening is up 18% year over year. So I know that it's up. I don't know exactly what the number is.
We are in the land of milk and honey.
We're so lucky.
In terms of having the perfect place, for veggie gardens. And it seems like, how can you go wrong? You can't.
Exactly. We're very fortunate we can garden year-round here.
So of those 40-plus million across the country who are veggie gardening, I bet there's a lot of them that are right here, Well, when we come back, I want you to help us start our own veggie garden at home. and how not only to participate in your classes, but maybe some of the choices, the veggies that we should choose right now. How do you get your little plot of land started? Do you need to maybe get rid of the grass and put some of the veggies there and get the soil right? And how do you succeed at it? All right. We're going to talk about all that. Home Wizards, we're talking about victory gardening and your chance to also, if you have a question, you can call in at 888-KFWB 980, 888-539-2980. And I see that, Edgar, you've got a question. We're going to get to you after the break. Don't you worry. Cindy Dole, and this is KFWB News Talk 980. Welcome back, Cindy Dole here. You're listening to Home Wizards, and maybe you are grazing in the grass. Maybe you're thinking about some gardening to-dos. Whatever it is, we love to talk about all of it, the inside, the outside, and that's what we do. Your radio home for all things home garden and life improvement. And we've been talking about victory gardens with a couple of gals who do it very well. And a third is going to be joining us shortly to talk about ways to really live like our friends from years ago had to, and now we are, because not only do we maybe have to, but we just want to, because we want to feel more empowered and enjoy our veggies. So Sandy and Jeri, thanks for hanging on with us.
Thank you.
So let's go to the phones, because Edgar is calling in from Downey. And Edgar, how you doing this Saturday?
Oh, good. So far, so good.
Okay. So what, you have a garden going?
I have a small garden, nothing real big, just some tomatoes and some grapes and stuff. But I have two dogs in the backyard. How do I keep my dogs out of the garden?
Well, you know what I would do? I would put them inside and give them a biscuit. But, I'm sure, what would you say, just are there new fencing methods that you guys can do when you're out gardening, Jeri? Yeah?
Well, I would say, depending on the size of the dog, would determine how sturdy the fence needs to be. Raised beds might work particularly with smaller dogs that can't get up to them. But those are the two things that come to my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even if you have a raised bed and you can put some rebar or 2x4s around it with chicken wire. Just fence it off a little bit. Give the dogs the idea. There's always Caesar. There's always dog training.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Just kidding.
Edgar, I hope that helps you. Are you thinking of doing some more veggie gardening this spring? We just lost him. I'm sure he is, because with this weather,
he had to get back out into his garden. No time to talk,
all
man.
Right, well, let's talk about some of the things that we should be thinking about planting veggie-wise right now. So, Jeri Huston, what would you suggest that we, some of the 5 things that we could be planting right now?
In the next month, I would look at probably cucumbers, tomatoes, which are probably probably the most popular vegetable. Tomatoes, cucumbers, beans. Carrots can pretty much go perennial here if you want them. Peppers are a good summer vegetable. Eggplant. Those are the main things that I would look at planting this time of year.
And economical, too. Those are good suggestions for tomato plants. Usually, most people buy the ready-grown plant from your big box store or anywhere, but beans and cucumbers are so easy from seed. So that's a great way to economize, and just to see those little sprouts come up out of the ground. It's really fun. You probably need trellising for both of those, for cucumbers and beans. Vertical growing is a big thing. Everybody's paying attention to that. Maximizing your space, especially if you only have a teeny tiny patio. You could have a 12-inch pot and put a stake in it and chicken wire, make your own trellising.
Oh,
grow up.
I've seen some tomato trellises that are off the charts. I mean, they look like they have had hormones or something like that.
For those 14-foot indeterminate tomatoes,
amazing.
or 18-foot tomatoes. Yeah, it's crazy.
So that's kind of a fun solution, yeah. All right. Well, then in terms of the soil, let's say we're looking at our front yard as a possibility, because edible front yards are now becoming very much in vogue, right? What do we do? Do we start thinking about changing the soil and that kind of thing?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, soil's very important. Even good soil needs to continuously be amended and looked after. Another thing that helps soil is crop rotation. That's another thing you can do. Composting. I mean, there's a variety of things you can do to continue to maintain your soil.
And you can get your soil tested, too, so that you're not just throwing chemicals or organic fertilizers on your soil. There's a soil analysis lab in Orange, and you can find them on the web, and I think it's $75, but it's totally worth it. I did it as part of a class project at Mount Sac last semester and found out that my soil was lacking in nitrogen. And who knew? I compost all the time. I thought I'm doing everything right. That's the one principal mineral that I'm missing. So anyway, there you go. Now that's the only thing I need to add. I'm fine with everything else.
So you went to the vitamin store and you got the nutrients.
Exactly.
And
yeah,
we're
it's a
good to
big pill. It took up the whole back seat, but you know what? I'm all set now.
Okay. Well, I think we need to bring in our other guest who could help us with all that, because she's about to be teaching a class called the Swan Song for the Lawn. And it basically is maybe thinking of getting rid of the lawn and turning it into an edible estate. And so, Joan Stevens, thanks for joining us. You're also tied to a lot of these veggie gardening classes, and you're a botanist.
Correct.
And so good to have you here.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, and so when people say to you, we're thinking about maybe getting rid of the grass, getting rid of the lawn.
Hallelujah.
Well, that's what you say, but what is bringing them to that point? Because, there's some angst out there.
Well, there's, in fact, up until I think April 30th, Los Angeles Department of Water and Power will pay you $1 per square foot for taking your lawn out, because a lawn is this weird relic left over from like feudal England. There's no reason for a lawn. We just get in this weird little mental box that, lawn is, property values, or a big lawn means I'm rich.
Right.
It's bizarre to me that we feed and water. We are slaves to a lawn. You can't even eat it. And for the most part, people don't even use their lawn. I bought a house last year, and I'm delighted. Just to be totally clear, I'm not teaching the class, although I've done other classes like this. Mm-hmm. My mentor, Larry Santoyo, who's phenomenal and incredibly skilled at design and doing these kinds of conversions, is teaching it at my house. Delighted for that. But, now all the water that I would be going to my grass, although I don't really water my grass much anyway, is going to be growing food, not just for me, but as a means of exchange in my community. As gardeners, we all know, like, you get a load of zucchinis, you're tired of it. You trade them for avocados, or, for the tomatoes that the neighbor has, or whatever. So, it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be habitat. I also keep bees too. I have rabbits, which is going to help contribute to the soil fertility. We're not taking the grass away. We're leaving it there, and we'll sheet mulch on top of it using cardboard that we've been scrounging. So, using something that would go into the waste stream as a resource. Also broken concrete, that's also a huge waste stream, turning it into a resource to build these raised beds, which will also be habitat for lizards, which is pest control. Be using the litter box contents from my bunnies, who are some of the best composters around, and building this beautiful, organically, rich food forest in my front yard,
But it sounds, you're a botanist. You know how to do all this. It sounds really hard.
But it's funny though, if you talk to botanists, they might know the Latin names of the plants, but they don't necessarily know how to make anything grow.
Oh, okay.
Botany is not necessarily an applied skill. So I've been taking permaculture classes, and I'm a master gardener trained also. I learned a lot more about gardening from killing a lot of plants than I did from taking botany classes.
That's okay. That's the whole idea, is that, there is no such thing as a green thumb, is what I've learned, is that, it's that perfection thing that kind of shuts you down. You got to throw it out of there and say it's okay to make a mistake.
Well,
right?
and that's, I'm a teacher by trade, and that's how we learn, really. Mm-hmm. It's fundamental to how we learn, is by making mistakes and figuring out what went wrong.
So this Swan Song for the Lawn concept, which is going to be the class, next weekend?
Yes, I know, it's coming up.
And it's a class both Saturday and Sunday.
Correct.
And this is in Eagle Rock.
Yes.
At your house.
Yes.
And we'll get to the particulars on how they can get there. But when you think about a swan song for the lawn, I'm thinking that we're going to get rid of lawns. Is that what you're encouraging for people, just to to kill it and get rid of it and start fresh?
If that's what floats your boat, then please do it. There's never any one solution that everybody needs to do. That's it's not the way nature works, right? There's diversity of solutions.
Okay, so what is your solution then?
Well, just to float a word out that's going to scramble people's brains, is permaculture is a design system. And that's really what all this stuff is. And I was going to try to get away with not saying it. But, and permaculture really means, applying, there's so many different solutions. It's like, what's going to work for you? I don't know what your schedule is like, but it might not work for you to have a food forest in your front yard. It might work much better for you to go to the farmer's market to get your produce, or to have your neighbor grow a bunch of food.
Hang on a second. We don't have your microphone on. There's a little cranky up.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Sandy.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
It's also perfectly acceptable these days not to just flat out kill your lawn, but to neglect it. Turn the water off. We don't have the water to spare anymore, and your neighbors aren't going to throw you out of the neighborhood. The property values aren't going to dip. if you just let your lawn go. So you don't necessarily have to tear it out and put in a whole new thing.
Well, I don't know
Well, I
about
wouldn't
that.
tear it out either. Sheet mulch it so it decomposes and adds nutrients to the soil.
But, there are neighborhoods where people are kind of raising their eyebrows, and there's this, this kind of peer pressure that, oh my gosh, you're doing what to your front yard, and what are you doing to our community? So, I mean, there is a little bit of, I think, kind of a nervousness.
Well, I
mean, not everyone is as brave as you, Sandy.
I think you have to be responsible for the aesthetic also.
Yeah.
There are plenty of, a lot of great ideas got bad press when people put, a bunch of broken, shredded newspaper in their front yards and it blew all over the neighborhood. Like, who would want to mulch if that's what it looks like?
Right.
So especially if you're kind of the pioneer, then I think that having a high aesthetic level is really critical.
And we'll get to some of those aesthetics. We're going to take a quick break, and all these ladies are all about great things tied to your gardening, whether you have a green thumb or not. Let's just throw that out of there. We're going to learn how to grow things that you can eat. Call on in. Maybe you have a question, 888-KFWB-980. You're listening to Cindy Dole, Home Wizards. We're back right after this.
Do what you want to do.
If you want my future, forget my
I know what you want. You want to have a great home, a place to come home to and say, you know what, everything's great. And that's what we do here every Saturday. Home Wizards, Cindy Dole, and no matter what size of apartment or structure or plot of land or garden, or all you have is a container, it's okay, because we are figuring out ways to enjoy it and make it better. And you can call on in and join in the fun at 888-KFWB-980, 888-539-2980. We're talking about victory gardens and making maybe that front lawn forest food or food forest. Oh my God. So with me are three ladies who are going to help us through all of it. We have Jeri Huston and Sandy Gillis and Joan Stevens. So thank you, gals, for hanging out with us. And you all work with these the University of California Cooperative Extension classes, and that's such a cool thing. It really helps, I think, to inspire people. Don't you think?
Oh, definitely. Oh,
No?
yes, indeed.
Yeah.
We don't all. I'm just the Altadena Community Garden member, and we host. I haven't done the Master Gardener classes.
Right. You guys are so humble about the tiers of of accomplishment, but I know. But you guys are all
The
actively in
horticulture
it.
police are outside.
Oh no, it's okay. It's okay. And so Joan Stevens, we were just getting to the whole idea of food forest, and so this is the new buzzword I have to start using more often. Food forest.
I just like how it captures kind of a visual aesthetic of a forest, except you reach out and it's, you're picking fruit. Or you reach down and you're harvesting onions.
So what are you growing at your house? I mean, you must have an amazing...
Gosh, I've only been there a year. And let's see. I mean, I have a lot
Do you
of
ever
stuff.
go to
I
the
could
grocery
start listing
store?
things.
Do you
Oh,
ever
of
go to the-
course I
oh.
do. I mean, actually, I have a CSA that I get most of my produce from. A community-supported agriculture farm that I support, and I get a big box of produce. So I don't really shop for produce from the grocery store because I get more than I need from this big box.
See,
from the
you're
South
so
Central
going to
farm.
heaven. I can see it right now. They're going to play the video back, and they're going to show, look, handing these
Right
boxes
now?
of food.
I'm just trying to make my
Going
life
right now?
easier.
Not now.
It makes my life so much easier rather than having to, go to the store to pick stuff out every time I need it. I have a huge box, and I get what's in season.
Yeah.
It's kind of like my little, way to have a farm, even though I don't really have a farm.
And it's going to be something that we can do. We can handle this.
Well, there's so many great solutions to creating lots of bountiful produce in your house and in your diet that don't require even farming, although I'm a huge advocate for gardening because to me, that's like the medicine. When you're growing food that you cared about and raised from a seedling, you love that plant.
Well, you were comparing yoga to veggie gardening on your website.
Yeah,
so
I
explain.
also teach yoga. Well, it's to me the veggie garden is about looking at systems also. That's part of what permaculture is. So instead of just planting a garden, then, oh my God, how am I going to water this? Or, oh no, I have to go to the Home Depot to buy a bunch of bags of fertilizer or whatever. How do we solve those problems in a much more locally based and graceful and easy way? So when I think about, issues of my own physiology and my own, posture and health and well-being, I can go to the doctor every time I have a little ache or pain, or I can try to be a student of my body and explore, like, what am I doing with my posture that would create that little twinge in my hip? Okay, maybe it's because I always stand like this when I'm washing dishes. So it's all kind of a inquiry. It's looking at my body or the way I get my produce or my home as an ecosystem as a system.
Mm-hmm. And I bet when you do go to the grocery store once every 6 months, that you probably are still shocked by the prices of food. I mean, it is kind of sad. It's going up.
Everything costs money. I just try not to think about it.
Yeah. Well, Sandy and Jeri, I mean, what are you growing in your garden, by the way? You growing everything that you're eating?
Yes. Well, no, I still grocery shop, absolutely. I would say what I have going are I've got broccoli, I've got cauliflower, I've probably got about 30 varieties of lettuce.
30?
Yeah, I love
30.
I have a lot of lettuce.
Can you
I
name
love
those
lettuce.
30 varieties, please?
Not off the top of my
In
head.
10 seconds.
Well, they're the green ones and the red ones.
Yeah,
I mean,
I have a lot of the chicories, like Treviso, the Italian chicories, which I love.
As my husband and I call it, fun lettuce.
Yes, yeah, it's pretty to look at. The variety,
and it's more complex to the taste. You
it
know,
is.
Yeah.
And I have to say, one thing we haven't talked about here, and I think this is something that people that don't have edible gardens don't often think about. They can be beautiful to look at.
They really can.
And when you have a variety of 10 or 15 different lettuces and different textures,
Or how about cauliflower?
It's beautiful.
Oh my gosh, those
Cauliflower is
pictures!
beautiful.
The pictures that you guys sent over. And by the way, I'm going to post them on the website and on Facebook, and I have a few on Facebook right now. But they are stunning. Those colors.
Yes.
Yeah.
You are
Or
way
the
back in the
cabbage. I mean, you almost expect a little baby to come crawling out of that. You know?
Somebody should make a doll.
Oh yeah. Okay. Ha ha.
No, but really, that's where it came from, right? Everything comes from nature.
That's true. That's true. Well, we can do this all year round here in Southern California.
That's right.
And so, as we're all trying to get over the fear of not doing it right, what can you do wrong with edible gardening or food foresting?
You can spend a whole lot of money at your local garden supply store, on especially trees that don't even like fruit in this climate.
So
and
what won't fruit?
Well,
in
you
this
have to
climate?
look at the chill factor on your fruit trees. And a lot of the trees that would do beautifully if you lived in Washington State and that you sometimes see in local garden places, they're not going to produce any fruit down here. And so people get like, oh, I really can't garden, when it's just that they've been sold, stuff that's not really appropriate. Or, planting a huge bunch of tomatoes because you're all excited about tomatoes in the middle of winter in Southern California. Or, just not. The best thing you can do is talk to your local gardeners or walk around your neighborhood and see who's got a garden and ask them what they're doing. Because then you're not as likely to do those kind of silly errors and spend a lot of money on things that don't produce lots of
So let's
food.
talk about some of the classes that are going to make us smarter. Altadena, what do we
Right.
have going on?
Well, what we have at Altadena is we have we have an intermediate class in the afternoon, which is new this year, and that'll go in the afternoon from 2 to 5, and in the morning we'll do a beginning class from 9 to noon, and we start on April 9th, and we go for 4 consecutive weeks every Saturday, and I think on the website is the information on how to contact me if you're interested in Altadena. But more generally or broadly speaking, we have about 19 other sites going on all over LA County. And I think you were going to post that information also.
Yeah, we will. The Cooperative Extension website is so great because you have so many helpful tips throughout the year. And so we'll tell you about that website in just a second. And then you also have the class coming up in Eagle Rock, and that's this weekend.
Correct.
And so so those aren't sold out. We can go to both of these if we'd like, right? Yeah?
Yes,
But
we're not sold
hurry.
out. Yeah, we're not sold out.
There's another class in April 19th, I think, hm157.com. It's happening at a historical monument in Lincoln Heights, rather. And that's food forestry design and planting the understory of a food forest.
Now, what do you guys advise in terms of pest control and keeping all the bad things away from eating your veggies? I'm guessing you guys do
The
not.
gardener's footprints are the best pest control kind of thing. For me, it's just being out in my garden. Like every time I'm out there, I look for those little cabbage looper things and I scrape them off. And I wish I had chickens to feed them to, but I just whip them, throw them around. I do the same thing with slugs. Just throw them.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say companion planting. There's certain plants that are known to detract what we call beneficial insects that, will go after the insects that we don't want in a garden. So there's very smart ways to do pest control without using a lot of pesticides.
I love ladybugs. We had a guy, in fact, who was all about smart bugs, and he gave me all these bugs, and he talked about how you can put ladybugs in your refrigerator and trick them into early hibernation, and then when you're ready, when it's convenient for you, take them out at about 5 at night, and then put them all over your roses or wherever your veggie garden, and then they'll stay on those plants and do their thing and munch those aphids and whatever else. Isn't that cool? You already knew that.
I love ladybugs. I'm a huge fan of insects, but also feeding your soil too, so the plants have a little better immune system, basically.
So here's the website to find out about these classes. It's the Cooperative Extension and Common Ground Program. It's CE as Cooperative Extension, losangeles.ucdavis.edu. So let me repeat that for you again. It's a CE, losangeles.ucdavis.edu, and it's a great website with a lot of good information on how we can sign up for these things.
Right,
you know?
and one other thing is if anyone wants to get on Yvonne Savio, the program manager here in Los Angeles list, they can email her directly, and they'll be put on a list, and they'll receive a lot of information
Oh, yes.
from her. And that email address is YD, like David, Savio at ucdavis.edu.
Excellent.
And I think you were going to put that on the website
We will, because once you get on her mailing list, I mean, there's so many classes to think.
It's massive.
You know.
I email my classes out to her too.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, in terms of the veggies that are left over, you mentioned that you give boxes to help with the ag department.
No, I get boxes from a community farm.
From a community farm.
Right.
How can we, if we worry about growing vegetables that are huge? I mean, for instance, zucchinis, you've seen these pictures, the pumpkins, I mean, and just kind of overtakes your yard. What do we do to solve that fear that people have? But it also could be a great solution to feed others.
That
right?
problem, can be a huge solution where it starts to build in networks of exchange within your community. You know, I mean, I would love it if my neighbor who has the avocado tree would come over with a bag of avocados. I would be, clicking my heels together.
There's a group called Ripe Altadena, RIPE, and they do a food exchange just among neighbors. That might be a good place to go.
And there's people, I understand, that'll pick up the stuff for you.
Absolutely, this is one of them. I mean, in Altadena anyway.
Yeah, right.
But that could be a good model for someone else who's trying to get that sort of thing started.
All right, so it's the weekend. This is still shaping up to be an okay day, and tomorrow we hope will be too. What would you say are maybe 2 great veggies to go out and get and put in the soil, like now? Go ahead. What would you say?
Gosh, it seems like the brassicas are still doing okay. We're kind of at a weird transition time right now.
It's winding down the one season and moving into the summer planting season now. So I would think feed your soil is the thing to do right now.
Yeah.
See, now, I don't like that. You got us all pumped up. We want to do it now. You're going to make us wait?
Go to the farmer's market.
Okay.
Go and look over the fence at the community garden and see what they're doing and get some ideas.
And
Planning is so important.
See, we want to do it now as a thing. I'm terrible that way. All right. Well, thank you guys for being with us. And I think we're all inspired to get out and do it and to not feel like you have to be a botanist. And we'll love to have you guys back because the Cooperative Extension rocks. I mean, I love these community outreach efforts. And I think it really helps people not only get more confident, like you were saying, but make friends. And if you don't have like much yard, you have a lot of people like that, they don't have
a lot of people are doing container gardening.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a lot you can do with containers.
Yeah. You can like have a whole salad bowl in a container,
Absolutely.
right? A couple
tomatoes.
Yeah.
Window boxes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you guys have been so much fun. So thanks for sharing the wisdom. We'll have you back again, the class again at your house in Eagle Rock next weekend. Mm-hmm. And we'll have the website. You want to mention the website?
Yes, it's my website. It's mamabotanica.com.
Who's your mom? Who's your mama?
Mother Earth. Mama
All right, you food forester, you. Thank you guys, Jeri and Sandy and Joan.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you again soon. Coming up next, boy, you're not going to believe this lady who is going to join us next. She has a website about things that are really offbeat. You're going to love it. Cindy Dole, Home Wizards on KFWB News Talk 980.
When he began to beg, and then he licked his bowl and he looked